Hello and welcome to the first episode of the 12 Bakes of Christmas here on Bradley's Baking Bible. We're counting down to the big day with some brand new Christmas-inspired recipes to help you create showstoppers in your very own home. So, what are we waiting for? Let's get started. It's a Caribbean Christmas cake. We're kicking things off with this twist on a traditional cake, packed with mixed fruit, rich spices, and probably enough rum to get your grandma drunk. The full recipe, measurements and method are all down below in the description, so head on over to bakingbible.co.uk to check those out. To begin, you want to cream 8 ounces of butter and 8 ounces of sugar together in a mixer until they're light and fluffy. Now I've used block butter because I really want to get that rich buttery taste in the cake, and we've also used dark soft brown sugar. Next you want to beat 3 eggs together, and in a separate bowl weigh out 8 ounces of plain flour and 4 ounces of self-raising flour. Add them into the butter and sugar, bit by bit, alternating as you go. This is just to make sure that your mixture doesn't curdle, as that could affect how the cake rises. Keep doing this until all your eggs are combined nicely. Now, if you follow us on Facebook, you would have seen our reminder to soak your fruits to help get that rich flavour inside this recipe. And if you don't follow us on Facebook, why not? Now we want to keep as much of that flavour inside the cake as possible, so we're not going to drain the fruit, instead we're going to pulse it in a blender to make sure it's really infused. The trick here is not to blend it too much, we want to keep some of that consistency. Altogether you want about 10 ounces of fruit for your cake, and we're going to add that into the mixture, alternating with some flour as we go. Once that's all done, it's time to spice up the cake. That wasn't meant to be a Spice Girls pun. To the mixture you want to add 1 teaspoon of mixed spice, 1 teaspoon of nutmeg, 1 tablespoon of treacle, and 1 tablespoon of gravy browning. I can imagine that anyone from Yorkshire is sitting there like, did he just put gravy in cake? No, don't worry, it's not actually gravy in gravy browning. It's made of caramel and molasses, which again is really going to add to the intense flavour of the cake. And then the last thing to add to the mix is a few drops of Angostura bitters. I have no idea what kind of name that is, so I'm going to rename it Angie B, because that sounds a lot cooler. So add a few dashes of Angie B to your cake mix, and then blend together. Once it's all combined, pour your mixture into a double-lined baking tin. Now the cake doesn't actually rise that much, so don't worry about piling it on like pounds at Christmas. I have no idea where that was going. Level off the cake batter and bake in the oven at 150 degrees for about 3 hours. Now it's quite a long bake, and we want to make sure the cake stays as moist as possible. So the trick here is add a small dish of hot water in the bottom of the oven, and as that cooks it will evaporate and keep your cake nice and moist. When your cake's almost finished, you want to mix together some alcohol so you can finish it off. I mean the cake, not to drink. I've used 150 millilitres of spiced rum and 150 millilitres of cream sherry. Use a skewer to make some holes in the top of the cake and then slowly pour over your alcohol. Your cake should be hot enough that the alcohol sizzles when it hits the sponge. And you're done. Turn the oven off and place your cake back inside and allow it to cool completely. Now you're probably wondering what you can do with it next. Well, you're going to have to stick around. We may or may not have another video coming up in our countdown to show you how to ice your Christmas cake. That's all for this episode. If you like what you see, don't forget to subscribe, like our video and share it with your friends as well. We're on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram if you want to find us, and your next video will be here tomorrow. See you then.